Life is a journey. As we transition through the changes of life's journey, our needs change. Genesis Hospice offers specialized end-of-life care while treating not only the physical body, but also supporting the emotional and spiritual needs of both patients and their families. One family member said, "Through my dad's hospice experience, I learned there is never a more perfect time to be joyous, to laugh, and celebrate the memories and traditions of all the years with the person you love." Here are some of the experiences of hospice care.
When someone is ready for hospice care, it usually means that we change their goals of care. It isn't as much about prevention, prolonging one's life. It's more about making sure that your goals are met, whether that be a spiritual goal, a physical goal, a goal to be comfortable. So we tend to try not to use a lot of medicines that are aimed towards prolonging your life, but providing you with quality of life.
How are you guys?
Community-based hospice care is primarily where we go out into either patients' homes, into a nursing home, assisted living, wherever you call home, and provide end-of-life care to them. And a lot of times our social workers are able to connect patients with their family members. Sometimes their patients are spiritually distressed for one reason or another, and whether, even sometimes if they aren't necessarily real spiritual people, our chaplains do a great job of just talking with people, because I think that there's a lot of unfinished business sometimes with people as they're nearing the end of their life, and not everybody wants to talk about that, but our staff are trained in that, and I think do a really good job. The Clarissa C. Cook Hospice House is an inpatient unit. We are really fortunate in our area that we have the hospice house. It's a 16-bed facility, and even though Genesis fully supports it, we manage it, we run it, we staff it, it is open actually to all hospices to bring their patients, which is why it's a community house, not only for Genesis patients. It's a team effort, obviously. We have nurses, hospice aides, our volunteers. We have great volunteers that are here, and we're able to provide a lot of other services that maybe we couldn't do in the home, with music therapy, massage therapy. We have a program that we participate in. It's called We Honor Veterans, that oftentimes it's the first time that they've told their story of what they maybe did when they were in the service. And we provide that with all of our veterans, no matter what branch of service that you were in. At our hospice house, we have what we call journey quilts. We have volunteers that have made quilts. We use that in a way to respect their body and respect their life, and as they journey outside to be taken to their final resting place, we utilize that. Our team of hospice providers, we know that our primary patient is the person who has the illness, the terminal or chronic illness, but that's not to say that at times the patients are probably more at peace and more comfortable with their decision, and oftentimes it's the families that struggle with the decision that the patients have made to say, I'm going to allow a natural death. We really try to include the family in a lot of the decisions and educate them as well as we can so that they understand the dying process. And our nurses at the hospice house and in the community are very good at trying to educate people to look for the signs and symptoms that we're looking for, and so that they're prepared as things start to take that natural progression towards the end of their life. But when the patients come here, they know that usually the purpose is to have them end their life here, but often we will also bring people in here, change their medicines, adjust things a little bit, and we've been able to send people back home as well. Jim and Ellie O'Connor were, actually Jim was put on our hospice service first, And so I was able to go to their apartment where they have an assisted living apartment, and they were both there. And Jim was our patient at the time, and quite honestly, I looked at Ellie and I thought, I think you should probably be thinking about something similar. She was struggling as well and actually had just gotten out of the hospital, and her first comment to me was, I don't want to go back to the hospital again. And so I talked to her a little bit about that, and over the probably 6 months or so, we were able to bring both of them here, and it was actually very entertaining. They were a delightful couple. That weekend, the Cubs were playing and the Hawkeyes were playing, and we were able to take her bed into his room for one game and his bed into...
So they brought her bed and her over to our room to watch the game. Now, there's not many hospitals that do that, I'm sure.
Hello. How are
Well, I don't know that these people, I'd say Genesis and Hospice, are somebody that really cares about their patients.
You become very attached to your patients. I think what changed Ellie's mind is every time she watched the services we gave Jim and how attentive we were to him and assisted him in his daily care, since they are in assisted living, that she could benefit from those services also and take some of that burden off of herself.
I think how everybody presents themselves is a pretty good indication. You know, it isn't just another job. They're really there, they're compassionate. We had no complaints, but after 5 days we said, well, we felt pretty good. And it was time to get back to the apartment and get back into our program.
They never ready to ship us out anyway, I think.
So they were able to really utilize the hospice house, and the family, I think, felt a lot of comfort knowing that when they were here, they were really being taken care of.
Hospice has helped me as a local caregiver and a daughter to realize, and as a Genesis employee, to realize how compassionate and loving every single person has been.
To take the time to make that extra special atmosphere, ambiance, really care for them in that way, almost as if they were doing it as if they were their parents.
Prior to the hospice house, I think the only choices were either to go home or to the hospital. So we didn't have a lot of options until we had someplace like the Clarissa Cook Hospice House. And we had great enthusiasm from the Clarissa Cook Retirement Home Board, and they were one of the first people that were instrumental in helping making those initial fundraising efforts really successful. I would like to really thank everybody that has donated to the hospice house. It's something obviously I believe in strongly, and I hope that you will continue to provide your financial support, as well as if you want to volunteer, you can come out and volunteer and provide us that support as well. So we're so fortunate in the Quad Cities to have a gem like this.
Hospice emphasizes that quality of life is as important as length of life. Because of generous donors, Genesis Hospice is able to provide high-quality care where everyday life is extraordinary and honored as sacred. While many of us might fear or feel uncomfortable tending to the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of those at life's end, our hospice angels consider it a unique privilege. Your gifts make their extraordinary work possible. Thank you.